welcome back. Our next guest is John Boyens. John, thanks for being here.
Pete, thank you for having me.
Yeah, and John is a sales productivity as well as business strategy expert. He's the co-founder and president of the Boyens Group. And John, we're great to have you here today. Tell us a little bit about what the Boyens Group does.
Well, I spent almost 22 years in the corporate world running sales and marketing for 3 different Fortune 1000 companies. Yeah. And my wife and I started this firm 16 years ago, actually. June 1st of 98 is when we started. So it's surprising that we've had just about as much time in our own business as I did in the corporate world.
Yeah. Okay. So what are the top 4 or 5 keys to growing a business? And I realize, John, you work with a lot of entrepreneurial smaller businesses, and not only do you help them with sales productivity, but also in developing kind of who they are and the go-to-market. So with that, what are 4 or 5 things that are real important?
Well, I always try to simplify it to be able to build a process that is repeatable and scalable. So if you really simplify how to grow your business, the first thing is to get customers, then to keep customers, and then go find some more. Right. So when you start looking at that, understanding what you need to do, what does a profile of a good customer look like? Understanding your unique value proposition. Why does somebody buy from you versus somebody else? Taking it further, being able to document or quantify the value that you bring. So if I get customers and I keep customers, it makes it easier for me to get others. I love nothing more than to have my existing customers to become an evangelist for me.
Oh, yeah. And having been through several of your workshops, I can tell you the things I have learned have been really, really good.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So how do we outsmart the competition?
Well, I think there's a couple things you can do. And first off is most people and most entrepreneurs focus on the art, if you will, of their business. They've got a passion for that and they've moved forward. I also want to be able to add a science to that. Again, back to that part about process, repeatable and scalable. So there was a book written many years ago by Sun Tzu called The Art of War, and it's taught in West Point. A lot of business schools use it as well. And the understanding of who your competition is and how they compete, and then understanding how you compete with them is a big part about being able to differentiate yourself and your strategy. If I don't know who my competitor is and I don't know how they compete, I can end up making missteps along the way. And a big key for entrepreneurs to remember is this: their perception is your reality. So the market's perception, your prospect's perception of you is your reality. So if the market is positioning you in a way you don't want to be positioned, you have to go out of your way to be able to reset that expectation. It takes 7 to 9 months to change somebody's perception from negative to positive. It takes seconds to change it from positive to negative. So understanding your unique value proposition, understanding your market messaging, and what makes you different. What is it that your company does that your competition doesn't do, can't do, or won't do in the marketplace?
You said something that I really think is so important, and it's not what we think, it's what the market and prospective and existing customers think.
Exactly.
That matters.
It really is. Yeah. And again, they're going to talk on behalf of you. So if they've had a great experience, they'll tell others. If they've had a less than stellar experience, they'll tell others as well. That's marketing, not necessarily the kind of marketing you want.
Right. Yeah. So speaking of marketing, what are some low-cost marketing opportunities?
It's interesting as we've gotten to business today and what technology affords us. The idea of social media is so much more prevalent today than it's ever been before. That's a big part of it. But then also doing things that people don't think about that you can do that doesn't cost you a lot of money but pays huge dividends. As an example, if you're a member of a professional organization, you can offer to speak at a session.
Yes.
You could offer to be able to facilitate a breakout session. You can be on a panel discussion or whatever. You'll get your name and your logo all over the place there, and they'll look at you as the subject matter expert. They're hungry to get people to come on those kind of programs. So that's a key to be able to get into. In social media, especially if you're in the B2B space, I'd focus on 4: LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and then Twitter. I mean, especially in B2B, that's a big part of that. Right. And I'll give you another one that's really an amazing, good story, is vehicle wraps are huge. So whether you're actually wrapping your vehicle or you just got stickers or metallic signs on your vehicle, a wrapped vehicle makes 600 impressions a mile.
Wow.
Pretty amazing, right? 600
Yeah.
impressions a mile. And we have a client of ours that's based out of California called Budget Blinds. It's a franchise system. And one of their key marketing efforts is over the lunch hour, they park their wrapped vans in a Home Depot or a Lowe's parking lot. And they get 2 to 3 calls a day from just being able to place it there because, think about it. If you go into Home Depot or Lowe's and you find out you're not a do-it-yourselfer,
right,
and you walk out and you see a 1-800 number or a local number, again, an inexpensive way to be able to get your message out.
So, companies get RFPs sometimes. Yes. What do you do with those?
Well, I used to say RFP, RFQ, RFI equals RIP. Rest in peace. But because if you don't go ahead and establish the criterion in which you're going, you're working on somebody else's criteria. Yeah. So companies spend a lot of time chasing an RFP they don't have a chance to win. Now the good news is we've developed a series of processes that helps people evaluate and determine which ones to go after, and then secondly, how they can increase their chance of winning. So I'll give a little tease out to that. One of the things that we talk about is creating an RFP checklist, a triage checklist. In other words, how do I determine which RFPs I should chase? So if I know what criterion favors me, those are the ones I'll go invest time and effort into. Those that don't, I won't. So what are some criterion for that? It may be the number of respondents on an RFP. It may be the specific companies that are named on the RFP. It might be the fact that we did business with them in the past. It may be the fact that they're in our geographic area. It may be the fact that they're in our sweet spot. It may be the fact that I trust them, right? So if you can establish 6, 8, 10 criterion, now you take the gut feel away. Because what I see entrepreneurs do, especially startup, for 1 to 3 year entrepreneurs, they'll go chase any RFP that comes across the channel because they need the business, not realizing what the opportunity costs are. If you chase an RFP that you don't have a chance to win, 3 bad things happen. First, you've lost the business. Second, you've got the opportunity cost. And third, and maybe the most important, you've given your competitioning marketing ammo to be able to use against you the next time. So when you're looking at an RFP, if you're having to play in that process, get there early. Help set the criterion in place so that it kind of favors you in terms of what it is that you do, and make sure you don't chase an RFP that you don't at least have a 50% chance or better of winning.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. So let's say a company needs to hire an look. Okay, let me just, we're going to take a quick break here. And so we will be right back. Make sure to check out the services available, most of which are at no charge at scorenashville.org. Thanks.